Hello there everybody, onto some beginner blacksmithing projects. Today we're going to make a leaf wall hook. So starting off with a 1/2 inch square bar, we're going to start forging half on half off the far edge of the material with our hammer at a nice and steep angle. This will create a very nice short pointy taper. From here, where the forging starts and stops, I'm going to take another 1/2 inch, I'll refer to this as a cube of material, and using the round die of my rounding hammer, I'll start to forge it and break it down until it's about half the diameter of the bar I'm working with. As you can see, I'm then going to take a little bit more material and I'm going to start working on all 4 sides of the bar. This is a very aggressive way of forging a taper, and it's nice because it actually keeps the steel relatively clean as we go. So once we do rough it out, there's very minimal planishing work to be done, as you can see. I want to create a nice swoop to this taper, so you'll see I'm then going to start back from the top and then keep working all the way down with the round die as opposed to the flat die. I think this has a nice aesthetic, and I want to go ahead and follow that. So then, after a little bit of a straighten on the rest of the bar, I'm going to proceed to take the corners off, again with the round die. And this large radius on my anvil helps to take those corners off without bending that swoop away from how we want it. And of course, it does have that radius even on the diagonal, so the round die does help. Hot rolled stock isn't generally very attractive, so it's kind of nice to take the corners off the bar itself, where we're going to be putting our holes in a little later on. I've now switched over to a cross-peen hammer. You can also do this with a rounding hammer if you like, but I quite like the aesthetic that the longitudinal lines in the leaf are going to give. So, after flattening it down with the flat die of the cross-peen hammer until it was about just a little proud of the thickness of the stem, I'm going to proceed to use the cross-peen and start hitting either side of the middle. I'm not going to hit the middle. I want that to be still a little bit raised to give the idea of a vein. This is not meant to be an accurate representation of a leaf, rather an efficient, stylized representation that hopefully will be of aesthetic value. We're going to be using 2 punches to punch a countersunk hole. You can equally just use 1 punch and then finish it off with a drill bit that's the same size as the screw that you're going to be using to mount it. We want to start off nice and slow because, of course, we're pretty close in terms of dimension with the sides of our 1/2 inch bar with this large punch. If we go a little too fast and get it off, it can look a little bit funky because it's a pretty tight tolerance. Notice how I take my time. I hit only once. This has the benefit of keeping the tool relatively cool, while also, again, making sure that hole goes down nice and straight. Once I bottom it out, I'm then going to hammer it back from the backside and set it again before punching out a small slug, much like a punch and die. And obviously it's nice to do this at the lower temperatures, where the steel is more prone to shear rather than continue stretching and stretching and stretching as it would potentially at a higher temperature. This process means that we have a nice deep recess, yet we still have a nice seating for the screw when we want to fix this to the wall. So now it's on to forging the hook portion of this project. So what you'll see me doing is I'm going to take about 2 3/4 inches from where that hole is, and I'm going to be doing pretty much the same process we did on the leaf side, except of course the other way around. So breaking it down with half on, half off blows with the round die, I bring it down to about half the diameter of the bar at the shoulder, and then I'm going to feed in with my steel, still hitting half on, half off. And this is a very aggressive way of creating a reverse taper. There is a video on YouTube that you'll find under this channel where you can hear me talk a little bit about the different structures of different tapers and how different processes and different areas on your anvil can help achieve them. As I begin to get close to the shoulder, you'll see that I'm now just going to transition rather than from all 4 sides, I'm just going to go to 2 sides because I'd rather not mess up that shoulder and risk creating a cold shut. And once I rough this out, I'm going to begin to planish the whole lot and crisp it up. As you can see, this process is a relatively clean way of forging, so we can take this low heat and get all the cleaning up done here. Obviously, if you want to make it round, you can make it round. If you want to make it octagon, you can make it octagon. What I'm going to be shooting for is just a relatively nice, crisp square with the diagonals taken off. Now I'm going to bend it at 90 degrees. You'll see that because it's the smallest area, it'll want to bend first, and it'll also want to roll first, as opposed to the larger area of the hook. We can utilize this to our advantage because we can keep rolling and twisting and twisting and twisting, and rolling up what we could kind of colloquially refer to as a rung scroll. Benefit of this is, when we do want to forge our hook shape, we don't have to cool it off. And it also means that we don't have to hold the piece in tongs while forging a taper, which can be a little bit finicky. We only have to hold it in the tongs while we're bending it. Now, this is a beginner project, so I'm trying to show you guys how you can form this hook without having to use a horn, just over a block of mild steel that might have a few radii cut into it. This is a die anvil that was first shown to me by Brian Brazil, and you can find a video that talks a lot more about this on this channel. I'll make sure it's all nice and square. And you can hit towards yourself, you can hit down, and it's just a little bit of an intuitive process that's required to get that hook looking nice and neat. But it's relatively simple. And once you've got it to the right size and shape that you want, and you've gotten as many of the kinks worked out of it as you can, and it's as square as possible, we'll then be able to flip the whole piece around, and we'll be able to start making the leaf end look a little bit more natural, and potentially a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. Of course, though, it shouldn't go without noting that you've got to make sure that that area where the screws will be going in is nice and flat, and there aren't any obstructions over the rest of the length of the hook, so that we won't be marring up our wall. Again, you can take this as far or take it as little as you like in terms of how flamboyant you get with the bending of the leaf end. That's totally up to you. I just wanted to keep it pretty simple. And you can see this is why I quite like that stylized leaf shape. It's nice and simple, nice and effective. It's the kind of thing that you can sell at a craft fair, make pretty efficiently, and give to family and friends for Christmas or birthday presents. So guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate the support on this channel. It means a great deal to me. If you'd like to do me a favor, just head over to my website, and if you plug your email address into the form there, I'll be able to keep you up to date with what's happening here at the workshop, because I have some big plans for the first quarter of 2016. So guys, thank you so much for making it this far. Please don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. I'll see you guys soon at the anvil and beside the forge. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.